Hello, my name is Amelia Kennemer, and I'm spreading awareness of homeless individuals diagnosed with a serious mental illness, or SMI, by advocating for an increased number of peer support specialists within local integrated care, behavioral, and mental health agencies. A peer support specialist is simply an individual who has encountered a similar social, behavioral, or mental health issue, been successful in their own treatment, and is now being trained and helping others with their primary issues. SAMHSA considers this position as a source of inspiration and hope. The problem lies in the comorbidity of being homeless with a severe mental illness. According to the National Alliance to End Homelessness, during any single night, there are approximately 96,141 individuals, or 24% of the total U.S. homeless population, chronically living in an area not meant for human inhabitation. Of these individuals, the SMI clients who are chronically homeless or being homeless for more than a single year have significantly higher risk for social and health co-occurring disorders. This potentially leads to a substance use disorder or other addiction, incarceration, and physical ailments that result in hospitalization. It is important that peer support services are able to connect with these individuals in order to maximize the population's ability to become permanently housed. By being housed, the co-occurring disorders between social and health factors should decrease, ultimately increasing this client's population's quality of life. The University of Michigan Behavioral Health Workforce Research Center concluded that as of 2019, there are only approximately 2 peer support specialists for every 100,000 persons. This is not enough to meet the vast and dire needs of the target population. Individuals with an SMI diagnosis are able to qualify for disability income through the Social Security Administration. This would allow them to receive approximately $880 to $1,200 in benefits every month. If you compare the income for an SMI individual on disability with the fair market price in Maricopa County for a one-bedroom apartment, being $958 a month, this leaves little to no ability for the SMI individual to live independently. Increased fair market price for renters is a primary cause to homelessness, according to the National Alliance to End Homelessness. This proves that permanent supportive housing services are an essential service for the SMI community. With the direct causation of SMI individuals becoming homeless due to the increased fair market price for an apartment, it is essential for the community to help break the barriers that prevent homelessness from obtaining permanent supportive housing resources. The problem lies in the solution that I am advocating for would require local agencies to allot a greater amount of funds towards hiring peer support specialists. This would increase the amount of one-to-one assistance for each homeless SMI client. With assistance of peer support specialists, the homeless individual will be able to learn and connect to more resources, which would lead to a bridge in the gap between being homeless and being permanently housed. SAMHSA found that peer support specialists are able to increase client self-efficacy and motivation through advocacy and assistance with adaptation. With this increased support, SAMHSA also found that this population is more likely to engage with their services, such as their clinical team, anonymous group, and maintain their appointments. So, why should there be more awareness surrounding SMI clients? Some people might ask this while thinking of all the services that are already provided for this population. While there are services that can help them meet their treatment goals, the individual would first need to be educated enough in the system and agency to understand how to connect with the services. With an SMI diagnosis and the addition of homelessness, these clients have a more unique set of needs than other homeless individuals with any mental illness. Their SMI diagnosis is determined because their mental illness is causing a considerable amount of disruption to their life. Being homeless only compounds these issues. Peer support specialists are able to help increase physical, social, and economical support for these clients. This includes reducing hospitalization by motivating the client to maintain contact with their PCP and clinical team, increasing social support through engagement with anonymous groups and appropriate programs, as well as their financial state by connecting the client to resources through the system navigation, which also helps the client break barriers that have prevented them from seeking out resources. With the vast number of services available, it is imperative that the client is aware of the level of need and how to navigate the system. In order to meet these needs, the clients must be able to recognize which agencies and programs to contact, as well as which they would qualify for. Agencies and programs can fall to any of the circles of support. For example, the client should be aware that the state primarily funds their treatment. If they are needing permanent supportive housing, they would need to contact programs funded through the state but remain in the local level. They would not be able to get a housing voucher from a southern county if they live in a northern county. Peer support services will work with the individual through each circle that would meet the client's needs. While navigating through each circle, the peer support specialist would continue to increase the individual's autonomy and work on more personal goals. Peer support runs full circle. The peer support specialist is unlike most positions at an agency. This individual has had to learn how to navigate the system on their own or with other assistants and has physically and emotionally walked down a similar road that their client is currently going through. The peer support specialist has had to have encountered the same or similar mental health and social issues, worked through and completed treatment from an agency, then complete a peer support training program. Once the individual has completed their program, they would go on to help others. This is also seen in peer-run programs such as anonymous groups. One can consider a peer support specialist like a formal sponsor. Peer support specialists are an important factor in a client's treatment plan, as they are able to meet the client where they are during face-to-face contact. The peer support specialist may meet with their homeless SMI client on the street, in a temporary shelter, or at their clinic. This service is unlike most other services that are held at a clinic. The further down the service is on the triangle, the less contact they would have with the client. This gives the peer support specialist the unique opportunity to help increase engagement and advocate for the client. The goal is that the client maximizes their ability to meet their needs through engagement from the state level down. For example, the REBA determines which services are needed. This involves the client needing to know who their insurances work with. Then, the client will connect to a clinic, engage with their clinical team, and maintain contact with their peer support specialist. As you can see, the peer support specialist is the connection between the client and their program. There is also an incentive for each level of service. As the client increases engagement and begins working on attaining goals, the client will be more involved with their clinic and various programs. This increases payments for programs and clinics while decreasing overall costs for the state. In order to show the financial incentive for agencies to allot more funds towards peer support, one can take a theoretical look of how a single agency would be able to maximize their ability to help their homeless SMI clients achieve their goal of obtaining permanent housing. Teros Inc. is an integrated healthcare agency in Arizona. By analyzing their tax documents and their salary cost per individual position, one is able to calculate the amount they would be able to save by hiring more peer support specialists. Because peer support specialists do not have to have a degree, they are not paid as high as their behavioral health tech, or BHTs, which do require a degree. Teros currently pays their BHTs $15.97 an hour. This equals approximately $31,000 in annual salary. If Teros were to replace just 15 behavioral health techs with peer support services, they could save almost $100,000. Imagine how many more clients would be able to be helped if the extra $100,000 was used to help fund another program or increase support staff. As one can see in the tax transcript, program services account for approximately 98% of Teros' revenue. Because peer support has shown to increase engagement between the client and their programs, the dollar amount received for these services would increase. Ultimately, the homeless SMI population has a plethora of needs that require a unique set of skills that only peer support can provide. By increasing peer support services within an agency, the homeless SMI population would be able to increase their autonomy and ability to reach their goals. Not only is there a financial incentive for agencies to hire more peer support specialists, but it also helps the community and enhances the client's quality of life. And this is why I'm advocating for the homeless SMI population.